Welcome back to Goonies World. I'm Goonie, also known as Colin, and I'm joined as always by Johnny Farrow, also known as Sean.
Hello, happy Halloween.
And Meanie, also known as Ryan. And
Sorry, what the fuck that was? It's scary is what it was.
as you can tell, this is our Halloween special.
Yes.
But we're not done introducing
No, we have
people.
a special guest.
And her name is Lynette. Well, Lynn, also known as Lynette.
Yes, and also known as Lunicorn.
Unicorn.
The Lunicorn, Lino, the Lunicorn.
Or Lynn.
Or
Or you can just call me bitch.
bitch. We're gonna be calling you bitch.
All right, bitch.
All right, bitch. All right, bitch. Hey, get over here, bitch.
Well, tonight, in honor of the Halloween season, we're going to play Call of Cthulhu.
How appropriate.
Yeah, it's a classic tabletop role-playing game, one of the first. We're playing not the latest incarnation of it. We're a couple of editions behind, and I also prefer kind of a fast and loose pulp approach to Call of Cthulhu, and especially because we're on a podcast. We may gloss over minor points of rules, so you purists who might be listening, be aware of that. But today we will be adventuring in Arkham, Massachusetts, sometime in the 1920s. And we are here because three characters, the stories of their lives are coalescing at this time. Lynn, what is your character's name?
Margo Macey.
Margo Macey. And what is Margo Macey like?
Margo Macey is a very traditional flapper kind of girl. Finger waves, fringy dresses, short hemlines. She's a singer and dancer. She's a party girl.
Well, sounds like a fun time. She is also the niece of a resident of Arkham, Massachusetts, a man named Gareth Mosby, a gentleman of leisure who has a big house on the north of town, who's been disappeared 6 months ago, along with a young adopted daughter, a girl he adopted after a research trip to Africa, a little girl named Constance. But they've been missing. They're both presumed dead now and have been legally declared dead. And he's left his house and some effects and things like that to his niece, Margo, who has come back to Arkham. She only stayed with her uncle briefly after her parents died. Now she lives off that trust fund money. Anyway, she's come to town to just talk to the attorney who's handling everything, get a key to the house. She's taken the liberty beforehand of, by phone, hiring a private investigator to go with her, because when the attorney talked to her on the phone and told her about the house she was inheriting, said that there had been reports that vagrants had been staying in it, because it's been, sitting in there in probate for quite a while. And just to make sure that no one leaps out at her from the basement or anything like that, she's hired a private eye. And let's meet that private eye right now. Ryan, tell us about your character.
What do you want to know? Anything you want to know, I tell you.
Well,
that's how this works.
Yeah, all right. Tell us your name, mister.
My name's Saul. Saul Moran.
Saul
Not
Moran.
fucking moron.
Right.
Moran. With an A. Yeah.
I hear Saul really knows his onions.
That went over my head, babe. I don't understand that at all. But I do like onions. I don't like tomatoes, but I like onions. And I'm a private investigator, and I came down to Boston from New York because Boston has superior clam chowder, and now I work in Boston typically, but I've come out to Arkham here to help Margo investigate this house because there might be some bums, some vagrants living in there, and we're gonna take care of them.
That's right. And he's met her at the train station, and the plan is that he's going to drive her over to the attorney who handled all this, Randall Cobb, who is Mosby's attorney. But before you get into the car there in the train station, I'll point out that it is Halloween, and it's just before the close of business on Halloween. And so there's a crisp, cool Halloween night, but it is now drizzling and raining, and you can just imagine all the disappointed young trick-or-treaters in Arkham if it's... that won't stop most of them, of course, but a storm is definitely blowing in, along with, scattered leaves as the train pulls out and away across the Miskatonic River. And all the lights of Arkham begin to come on this beautiful fall night. If you call drizzle beautiful... There's a woman approaching the car before you get to it, and Colin, Goonie, can you tell us a little bit about your character? Because this is you coming up to muscle your way in on the situation.
Yeah, her name is Rachel Hemingway, and she's a reporter for the Arkham Gazette newspaper. And she's come to investigate this house because she knows that this is where the what was his name?
Mosby. Yeah.
Okay.
She knows that was the last place he was known to be.
Yeah, that's where he lived, and so he's gone missing. And
when you first tried to write about it, Detective Dempsey at the police, he was less than forthcoming with you. You know what I mean? He's not very trustworthy anyway, but. He had clammed up about it, and they didn't let you inside to look around. They don't have to, but they often do as a courtesy. And you didn't get anywhere with regular police. You could never get in, but you've heard that Margo's coming into town tonight. You heard that she's hired this Boston PI, and this might be your chance to get into the place and have a look around. So I'm going to leave it there with you here as dark falls outside the train stations by the Miskatonic River in Arkham, Massachusetts, on Halloween.
So she's approaching the same car that I'm approaching?
Yeah.
Hey, what's this? Who are you?
excuse me, is this Margo Mosby?
Macy.
Macy?
It's a paternal, not the same last name.
Yeah.
He's the maternal uncle. Yeah.
Well, it should be. I think she's here to pick me up. What are you doing here?
I'm a reporter. My name is Rachel Hemingway. I just wanted to see if I could, if you don't mind, take a look around the house. I don't think it was thoroughly investigated by the police. I think it's a real disservice that wasn't, and maybe we could find some clues to find out what happened to the old man.
Well, that's... I mean, I assume he's probably, deceased along with the little girl, but, that's kind of what I'm here for as well. So, I don't know. What do you say, Margo?
You're a truth seeker, or you're just looking for some dirt to spread around?
Well, I can't pass up a good scoop, but I am looking for the truth. I do want to find out what happened.
Well, all right. It's
Something fishy, I think.
It does sound pretty fishy. You're welcome to join us.
Yeah, quite fishy, I think. Suspicious, so to speak.
Well, in order to get to the house and confirm any suspicions or put your mind at ease, as the case may be, because it's a Call of Cthulhu adventure, so you got to think everything will probably turn out okay. It'll be no big deal.
No monsters, ancient horrors.
Right, it'll be happy.
Nothing
so
better
it should
bad
work out
ever
just
happens
fine.
in Arkham.
No. But to get the key to the place, you're going to have to go see Randall Cobb, the attorney. And you can hear the bells striking 6 from the Miskatonic University bell tower already, and he's waiting for you there. So imagine you can hop into, and you're picking her up at the station because she's just arrived by train, and you've driven out from Boston.
Oh,
so you've got a car.
I'm in the car.
Yeah.
I completely misunderstood.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. reality is slowly coalescing around the train station. And,
Mind if I hitch a ride with you?
Yeah, it shouldn't be a problem. Just don't get in the way. And then plus, there's some non-zero probability that we're going to be dealing with some vagrants and some bums and some hobos and stuff that have been living in the house and,
I can handle myself.
Don't be a dumb Dora.
I am not no dumb Dora.
Nobody likes a dumb Dora.
Nobody likes a dumb Dora. Or I can't think of an alliteration for Rachel, but anyway, get in. Hop in the jalop.
I'm not afraid. I've got something in my purse.
Oh yeah? You get some bear spray or something in there?
No, it's a firearm.
Oh, like one of these. Open my suit jacket and got like a side holster. Very good. Smart woman carrying a piece like that.
Lady gun, though.
yeah, you've got an automatic, right? Is it a
yes.
Colt automatic with the shadow user?
We don't have weapons on our list. Does that mean we don't have weapons?
I mean, yes, you don't have a weapon. You never needed to carry a weapon. Why would you carry a weapon?
Just
Just
kick
teeth
some
and
ghosts
claws.
in the jewels.
Yeah.
Don't worry
kicking that
about
ghost in the jewels.
it. Between Rachel and myself, I think we got everything covered. Everything we could possibly run into, any vagrants and bums. There's not going to be any ancient horrors or old gods or anything like that. We're going to have to deal with for sure.
Yeah, like I say, people hear these stories about Arkham. There's always some strange story about some old family, and a lot of people think it has a lot to do with the university being here. And,
Bunch of malarkey.
yeah, but that being said, there's a pretty good occult books collection at the university, and everybody knows that. So that does draw in, a lot of these. It feeds these urban legends. And for most people, life in Arkham just goes on as normally as any other place in New England in the 1920s. But as you drive through the mist, as you cross the Miskatonic River, which is sort of surging angrily below you on one of 3 bridges, there's about 22,000 people in Arkham, so it's not like a tiny little town for the time. Like I say, the college is here, but its downtown area is north of the Miskatonic River. And as you are approaching Independence Square, you can see that there are some young trick-or-treaters. Their costumes' authenticity perhaps marred by the umbrellas that their parents have forced them, to take with them. But you see a pirate and a ghost and, a few other creatures of the night with little umbrellas and bags knocking on doors, which are little globes of light, in this misty darkness. You pass Independence Square, which is this classic, this Revolutionary War monument in the middle of a grassy square and a gazebo for bands and things like that. But it is all but obscured by the driving rain as it gets heavier and heavier. And the thunder gets louder and louder as the storm comes in. And you pull up in front of the very small law office of Randall Cobb and hurry to the door. The bells jingle as you push through. And he's turned off most of the lamps for the evening, except for the, low green lamp over his desk. And he looks up. Oh, yes. Do come in out of the rain. Yes, come on in. Can I make you a nice something to drink? Perhaps a bit of brandy? Would that warm you all up?
No, wait. This is Prohibition era, isn't it?
Prohibition, schmohibition, brother. Come on in and have a bit of brandy for medicinal purposes.
Yeah.
I do have a cold in this weather, so
I'll have a little snifter myself.
Yes,
Sounds
medicinal
lovely.
purposes only, you
It's
understand.
lovely, yes. Little hair of the dog.
I'll refrain, but I'm gonna have a smoke. Anybody want to smoke?
Oh, please feel free to smoke. Nothing unhealthy about that.
Butt me. Butt me.
Ah, yeah, here you go. Here you go.
All right.
Broad, what about you? You want a butt?
not unless you've got any cigars.
Cigars? Oh, holy mackerel.
That's a big butt.
That's a big butt you got there, woman.
Big butt me.
We are up on our 1920 sled.
Unfortunately, I'm fresh out of cigars, but
I just happen to have some cigars for special occasions. This is close enough. Not often we get a reporter from the Gazette here.
Thank you very much.
He hands you a cigar. And now, Miss Macey, thank you for coming. I have an envelope right here with keys to the house. I know you stayed there briefly for maybe 18 months or so
I
in
did.
your teen years. Yes.
Yes.
So you'll remember your way around. Of course, your uncle had specific instructions drawn up long before he disappeared, and you were always to be his heir. There was a provision that you would inherit, of course, the house and the sum of $20,000. There's some legal work that still needs to be done because this $20,000 is going to be held in trust. You would be able to live off and use the interest until the 21st birthday of your young niece, Constance. However, Constance also having disappeared, been presumed dead, a judge will have to, of course, sign off on this, but I presume all of that principle will go directly to you.
Sounds like a bit of a pickle, but we can work it out.
Yes, yes. So, as I said, there were some rumors about vagrants staying in the house, and I see that you have taken precautions with... is it Mr. Moran? Am I reading that correctly? It's not Moran, of course. Moran?
Yes, of course it is. Don't be stupid.
No, I mean, your reputation precedes you.
Obviously, he's a big six bimbo.
That's that's right.
Yes, well...
Whatever she said is correct.
Now, I should point out that your uncle, of course, was a gentleman of leisure with no particular work. However, he did maintain an extensive library on his upper floor.
Oh.
And,
Books.
yes, but I would just recommend that you catalog those books immediately. He was something of an amateur academic, as it were, and they may be of great value. I believe his wine cellar also is most tastefully stocked.
I see.
So, a bit of good advice for you there. And if you would just sign this receipt here, Miss Macey, I can have you on your way. Well, I must be off. I must go home and see to my young ones and walk out into the rain with them. I suppose I must, at least for a little while, and do some trick or treating.
Yeah, getting some jujubes and all that kind of stuff, you know.
Well, I hate to see their teeth go rotten from all these sweets, but that's just the way it is.
Well, you know, everything in moderation. That's what they say.
Yes.
Don't want to be a wet blanket.
Well, I'm afraid, from what I know of you, Miss Macey, you would consider me rather a wet blanket. Yes, rather staid old New England attorney, that's me. But now, trusting that you will find everything in order at the home, I will give you again this envelope. It has the key in there, as well as the deed to the home and several of the legal documents. And see, you have signed the receipt, so if you don't mind. And he begins escorting you sort of towards the door. And oh my goodness, he says as he opens the door and the rain. The rain is really picked up and windy too. He gets his umbrella out, and walks down to he waves goodbye in a little cone of light, from a street lamp at the end of the street, and walks off to his home. And meanwhile, the house is not that far from here. It's about 4 or 5 city blocks. The house is on the northern edge of Arkham.
Well, if it wasn't so rainy, I'd say let's ankle.
It would be a lovely night for a walk if it wasn't so rainy. You're right about that.
No, I think it's probably best to pile into the jalopy here and get over to the... You can stay dry anyway. I mean, I got an umbrella if we need it, but...
All right. So you're driving around in a convertible with an umbrella. No, it's not. Anyway, though, you start up the car and head off through the rain. And again...
A breezer, by the way. A breezer is what we would call that if it were, in fact, a convertible.
Oh, okay.
Just so you know.
It's no breezer, so there's no problem with the rain.
It's a hard top.
And towards the edge of town, and When I say edge of town, I mean it almost looks like literally the edge of town, because there's a low stone wall around this house. It's on about a 3-acre lot, which isn't that much, but it's big enough that there's a big overgrown yard around it. There's some huge old trees that have not been maintained, although they're mostly bare now, and small sea of leaves inside this large yard, but the house is semi-obscured by trees, and there's no lights or anything. It's just a black, shadowy hulk through the rain as you pull up the drive. And beyond the house to the north, it is woods. Not heavy old-growth woods creeping right up to the low stone wall, but there's some sloping plains and clusters, dots of trees. The street continues, of course, and goes off to the north towards Boynton Beach and other crabbing and lobstering communities and things like that. But the town seems to stop rather suddenly. And that's behind you, the lights of the town, obscured in the rain, and to the north, just dark forest. And in the middle, this great big old house. It has a turrety type of tower at the very top, kind of sticking up out of it. And you're pretty sure he used to have a telescope up there, you remember, but you didn't go up there. You spent most of your time in this one room in the house because you were young and creeped out by the place, and didn't want to be where you were, and didn't understand why you couldn't have your trust fund money now, and so on and so forth. So do you want to take any special precautions on how you enter the property? I guess I leave that with our private eye.
Well, I mean, he doesn't.
And you're pulling up in the jalopy into the U-shaped drive in the front. There are 2 gates to the house. And so that's where we're at.
Well, yeah, and he doesn't think. I mean, I was kind of joking around in character a little bit about, we're not going to see any monsters, but he doesn't believe in any of that shit. So, no, I don't think he was going to take any real precautions. I mean, he thinks there's probably vagrants in there that he's going to have to root out.
And if there are, they're being pretty careful about the lights right now, because you definitely don't see any sign of the lights.
All right, well, you got the key. You want me to go first? Do you feel better about me going in, or you want to go in yourself?
I'll let you go in first.
All right, I'll take that key, and I will unlock the door and proceed. If you broads want to stand back behind me.
You know what? I'm going to go first, just because I'm going to prove that I'm a lady and I can handle myself. I'm going to march right in.
Well, the door's locked, and I got the key, so...
Well, right after you open it, I'm going to march right in.
I'm going to body block her. No, if she wants to go in, she can go in. That's fine.
Well, before you unlock the door, everybody make spot hidden rolls. That is a skill, and it's percentiles. It doesn't necessarily... Oh,
well, I fucked it all up.
Yeah, I see that Ryan's rolled a 95. He wants to roll low, so he hasn't seen anything.
Yeah. I rolled an 83.
I don't think anyone notices anything particular or special about the outside of the house. So, with that, Saul opens the door with his key, and then I assume he does not interfere as...
Pardon me.
Rachel Hemingway barges her way.
She's got her hand reaching into her purse, which is on her handle of her gun, but she doesn't pull it out.
Saul has his pistol out and at his side. He's with his finger off the trigger, but he's not taking any chances.
Well, when you walk in, you can see that you're in a... Well, it's a type of room they would call a hall. And there's a balcony up to the 2nd level with stairs leading up, and big old chandelier, but it's obviously not on. So there's a 2nd level right up above you with the stairs going there, and then there are rooms ahead of you and to left and right. It's all pretty big and open and spacious, though. Looks like there's a lot of there's fewer large rooms in here, and not like a warren of a bunch of tiny little rooms. But you can just imagine, in fact, a bit of your memory as you walk in, and you can remember that chandelier being on, And there's a big piano over in one corner that's now like draped with a sheet and things like that. But there's also a pallet made out of newspapers and things where somebody's been sleeping. And there's some cans of pork and beans. And somebody has actually made a fire of a few of the chairs that were in this room in the fireplace.
Like we've got some lollygaggers around here.
There's definitely signs of recent inhabitation by vagrants. Now, you think that there was like you're pretty sure that to the left of the hall is like a big, long dining room with this ridiculously long table. That's what your memory's telling you. And in the back, you're pretty sure is where the kitchens were. And to the right, there's like a little, sitting room and parlor where there was a radio, and then he had a little study. And upstairs, that's where you had your room, and there was his room up there. And you remember he had a great big library upstairs that you weren't allowed to go into. And you only went up to, there was an attic, and then past the attic, you remember that tower, and you went up there one time with a telescope because he was showing you this really cool star called Aldebaran. You just remember that name, and he was like pretty fascinated with it. And so that's as much guide as I can give you to the interior of the house. You do also remember a scary basement that you only went down to like once to steal some wine.
All right.
Well, I would know where switches and...
Yeah. Do you want to...
Yes.
Right.
Hold on. Look. There's clearly signs that this place has been occupied. You know where the light switch is? I recommend turning it on. Actually, I recommend not turning it on because then we're not going to be able to see very well out of this room. We'll be able to see very well in this room, but any place that's dark, it's going to be difficult to see. So I recommend not turning on the light at the moment, and instead, I'm going to... and you've got a gun. Why don't you get that out? I think that's a good time to get your gun.
I knew you knew your onions.
I know my onions. And my tomatoes. I fucking hate tomatoes.
Rachel, you want to take the gun out of your purse?
Yes.
All right. Sometimes the gun is mightier than the pen.
Brandishes her 38 revolver.
All right, if there's anybody in here, I need you to come out with your hands up. And he's going to start clearing all the hallways, all the exits out of this room.
Everybody make listen rolls. Listening is a skill. We want to roll low.
Ooh, yeah.
Lower than our
I
skill.
rolled an 8.
Oh, I did.
Oh, well, Saul misses this probably because he's, concentrating on something else.
And hollering.
But after his voice died down, you guys hear like something sliding upstairs, like furniture sliding across the floor.
Shh. I didn't want to hear that.
I heard it.
I didn't hear nothing.
It's sliding.
There's something upstairs.
It's sliding across the floor.
And then, of course, the second you say, "Did you hear that?" It's over. And now it's just...
Well, I thought I heard something.
I definitely heard something.
What does it sound like?
Like furniture moving, something sliding across the floor.
Where at?
Upstairs.
Upstairs and
Above us?
to the left.
That was hard to tell.
Where the stairs located?
All right.
Yeah, they're right here in the main hall.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna go up.
Okay.
You guys got my back?
Yes.
All right.
I'll cover you.
All right.
Okay, are you going second in line? Or are you going to bring up the rear with the revolver? And
Yeah.
you going to walk in the middle then,
Yes.
Margo?
Yes.
So, you guys creep up the stairs.
I say again, if there's anybody up here, you need to come out with your hands up.
Now, at the top of the stairs is the big double doors that lead into the library room that you were normally not allowed to go into. You went in there once when you went through it to get up to the attic so you could go to that tower and get the telescope, and you just remember a lot of old books in there.
And as we're walking up the stairs, I'm gonna quietly exit those double doors of the library and point out where the bedrooms are and the
And then
basic
to
layout
your
of the
right was like
house.
his bedroom, and there was a little sunroom, and then to your guys' left would have been where your room was, and there was a guest room there. You're not sure if that would be Constance's room now, or what your old room is now, or any of that stuff, but
Right.
if that helps you visualize it all up there.
Yes, indeed.
All right, so we're at the top of the stairs. All right. Can you point me in the direction you think the sound might have been coming from, one of yous?
It was just vaguely above us. I don't know.
Well, when you said to the left, that was actually a pretty good guess.
Oh.
It was actually a pretty good guess.
To the left.
I think your hunch was good on that. But that means that maybe one of the bedrooms, one of the guest bedrooms, or where she used to stay.
Yes, let's look down there first, and then...
All right, I'm gonna creep over to one of the bedroom doors.
Okay, first one.
First, closest one.
Yeah. All right, you're right outside the door.
I've got my pistol in one hand, the doorknob in my other, and I'm gonna slowly turn the knob, trying to make it as silent as I possibly can. And as soon as I feel like it, as soon as it stops, I'm gonna slam it open and point the gun in there.
While you are trying to so quietly turn it knob as quiet as you can, make a sneak roll.
I'm not so good at sneaking, boys or girls. But I did a frickin' great job.
Nice. Yeah, it does not even make a sound. You slam the door open, like you said. And first thing you see in a flash of lightning is like this really creepy looking face and these big buggy eyes. And you realize for a second it's a doll. This room looks like it's decorated for a little girl. There's a few dolls with big porcelain faces staring vacantly, their heads like tilted oddly, sitting on a little chest in the corner.
I'm just gonna shoot him. Not really.
And
Can I see over
yeah,
his
you guys can all
shoulders?
see in. You can all get a view.
That's
of the
that
room.
doll's a bug-eyed Betty for sure.
I have this
Agree.
weird, it's like sound effect in my head of like, as you're describing this, like these, like these little kids laughing and shit. Like, yeah.
Come play with us forever and ever.
Well, such things happen on Halloween.
But there's just the dolls. There's nothing else.
Yeah, but the bed, it's like out in the middle of the room. It's not up against a wall. In fact, there's a blank area that looks like it's ideally where the bed should be, and it's out in the middle of the room. You can see that there's a carpet underneath it that's been like half dragged across the room, like misplaced.
wrinkled,
Yeah, all
smushed.
wrinkled. And of course, there's a closet in here. It's more of a wardrobe, but than a closet.
Well, ladies, I'm gonna have to go in the closet.
And a toy box.
In a toy box. Oh God, there's a dwarf in here, moving beds around.
Rachel, keep your eye on the door while he searches around.
First thing I'm gonna look under the bed.
I just don't want anything sneaking up
Yeah,
behind
so
us.
You look under the
Good
bed.
idea.
There's a monster. They go, I'm only worried about it if you're a kid. I'm only here to get kids. No. Nothing under the bed at all, except for a little pair of slippers and a baton.
I will take the slippers and the baton and examine them closely.
Well, it's just a normal little girl's pair of slippers, colored lavender, and the baton is like a small bantam-sized one. But
Like a baton, like a twirler baton.
yeah, like
okay.
a drum majorette might
I see.
might have. Does anybody else want to do anything else in the little girl's bedroom? And you assume this was Constance's room.
I would like to just see, is her stuff packed? Or are her closets and drawers full of her little girl things?
Well, would you like to open the bureau and see?
I will open the bureau and see, yes.
Okay. And it's the type that's a chest of drawers and a bureau, like where it's like a great big cabinet that when you open them, the bottom half is drawers, and then the top half has enough room to hang clothes up, you know? And so you get up and open that. And inside are a bunch of clothes. Look like for maybe a 7 to 9 year old girl, somewhere in there. You can make a spot hidden roll to see if there's anything out of the ordinary. Meanwhile, while Margo is looking at that, are you doing anything special in here, Rachel?
Critical
Other than keeping an eye on the door?
Critical success.
Yeah, I'm just keeping an eye on the outside the door, but I kind of will be looking in the room as well. If anything like catches my eye.
Okay, well, while you're out there, make a spot hidden roll. And you, meanwhile, Margo, when you're looking at the clothes, you notice that someone seems to have cut holes in a lot of these outfits. They've cut holes like below the sleeves, like on the sides, on either side. There's holes cut out, and then there's in a lot of the pants. There's a hole cut out in the back, and so there's that. And then meanwhile, did
you ever meet this little girl?
No, she never did.
Oh.
Did you notice anything outside?
No, I didn't.
No, that's good.
Oh no, it's not. Sure.
Yeah, but that is no. She never did meet Constance, and again, she was like they say he adopted her when he was on a research trip,
So-
to somewhere in Africa.
Constance?
Yeah.
Okay.
These
I was
holes
wondering.
were on the sides and one on the back.
Yeah, there's one like in the pants. They usually have one in the back, like high on the buttocks.
Yes, I think I know exactly what that is. That's a tail. And the sides, maybe wings? Or tentacles?
Or tentacles or something.
Tentacles,
Yeah.
yes, I was
That's
thinking
creepy.
tentacles.
It's a demon child, for sure.
Well,
Well, that seems a little far-fetched, but yet it does raise questions.
as
Not
you're
far-fetched,
Does
but
raise
the Arkham
questions.
Gazette, which is the paper I write for. We write about this stuff all the time.
right in that minute, the door slams shut.
and we're all in the room.
Yeah.
Now, I was...
You are in the way of the door slamming shut. So
yeah.
What is your strength?
Strength 8.
Okay. Yeah, as the door slams on you, you wrestle with its strength as some otherworldly strength is trying to push the door closed
Got
against
it.
you, but you succeed, and you manage to wedge, your foot and thigh and prevent the door from closing
Hold on
all the
there.
way. And it hurts when it slams against your thigh, but not enough to do any actual damage. But when you get popped in the meaty part of the thigh, that hurts. So the door,
Ow.
and you don't know if it's wind or what, but you definitely felt like something was pushing it. Like,
Someone just tried to close the door on me.
and you don't see anybody out in the hall, but they could be standing right on the other side of the door, I guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to just look real fast behind the door
Okay.
with my gun.
Nobody out there. Meanwhile, what are you two doing? Saul and Margo.
I'm gonna open the closet door and put my gun in there and look for a demon child.
Well, the wardrobe was the closet where she just
Oh,
lived, so you could look in the toy box.
Then I will look in the toy
Yeah.
box.
Inside the toy box, more stuffed animals. There's a dollhouse in there with little dollhouse pieces sitting in a cloth bag. But as you're... it's like right there in front of the window. That's the chest that the little dolls were sitting on, so you can end up move them out of the way to open the box. And just then the bed slides across the room right towards you. Make a dexterity roll to get out of the way. Your dex times 5. What is your dex?
So it would be 70.
Okay, make 70 or less to leap out of the way before the bed smashes into you.
26.
All right, you do that, and the bed hits the window, or hits the wall. You realize it could have potentially pushed you right out of the window, smashed you through the window if it had hit. And then the door on you just goes bam, bam, bam. Not like it's really trying to do any damage, but just to hurt you. Just like a frustrated, aggression.
We've got a spirit around here. It's an angry spirit.
Well, it's certainly what it seems like.
Anyone have a Ouija board?
I do not.
Maybe there's one around here in this house somewhere.
Well, you never know. There could be something like that in the library, but there doesn't seem to be anything else particularly interesting in this room. Now, then you know that the next room is the room that you stayed in, and then, of course, the library and his room, and that's just the upstairs stuff.
Let's continue to investigate.
This house is creeping me out.
Yeah, I
It
agree on
always
both
creeped me out
counts.
as a child, but you know how children are. I didn't know if it was just whimsy or...
Well, I think our best bet at this point is to proceed to the next room, where is apparently your room.
Wait a second.
When you stay, well,
I want to speak to this spirit. I believe it's the spirit of this girl that disappeared. I think she's trying to contact us. Maybe maybe we should reach out. I'm gonna say, what was her name? Constance?
Constance, yes.
Constance, is that you? If you give us a sign, if you can hear us.
For a minute, there's just a dead silence. It's just the muted sounds of the storm from outside. And then the music box in the corner of the room starts playing.
Well, that's certainly creepy.
Well, that's a sign you was asking for.
That's a sign.
I think.
Is there any sort of it's just a lullaby type
Ask
song?
her if she
Yeah,
can
kind
knock.
of creepy lullaby.
Yeah.
Ask her if she can knock.
All right. We gotta ask her. What do we want to ask her?
Just ask her if she can knock.
Yeah, but we'll say
And then we'll do like once for yes and two for no
right
kind of thing.
But what do we want her to answer? Maybe what happened to her?
That's a little complicated for not answering.
It's gotta be.
Oh, yeah,
It's
that's
gotta
right.
be yes or no. Well, let's first find out. Let's confirm that it's Constance.
Well,
Hey, everybody makes
Yes.
listen rolls. Shit. As you're having your conversation. Fuck.
Critical failure.
Nope. All right. Okay.
Did we all fail?
We all sucked.
Well, there probably was nothing to hear anyway. I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah,
Okay.
seems likely.
Famous last words.
So what was your plan?
We could at least confirm that it is in fact Constance.
Yeah, you were trying to get her to knock.
And then go from there. So
So if you are Constance, yes, 1 knock for yes and 2 knocks for no.
From downstairs towards the back of the house, you hear bam, bam.
Well,
I
Oh,
guess
crap.
that was a no.
that was a no, and it was also downstairs. I think Saul is going to instinctively run downstairs because it was a big bang. It sounded like a big
It
thing.
did. It sounded like a big bang.
So he's
Not like an explosion, but like
right, like a boom,
Right.
like something big and strong, and he's going to go.
What do
attempt to
you
shoot
guys
it.
do? He tears out onto the balcony and storms down the stairs through the great hall towards the back of the house.
I'm
What do you
staying
guys
with
do?
the bimbo.
Okay.
What? Oh, he's
All right.
okay.
Yeah, because you guys, in case the listener's not aware, Bimbo in the 1920s is a hunky man, good-looking man.
A tough
Tough-
man.
tough guy.
Tough man.
I'm not all that tough, but I got a gun.
Well, the Bimbo with the gun runs downstairs, and our flapper is hot on his heels.
I'm not staying alone in this room, so I will follow.
Well, no more news is happening in this room. Not any good news anyway. So I assume you chase these two down the stairs. Already, you've got your, you can already hear your editor telling you he doesn't believe your wild stories of bangs in the night and creepy music boxes and so on and so forth. You're just probably eager to find some kind of physical evidence of something strange happening.
Kind of goo or something.
Yeah, some kind of ectoplasm.
Yes.
Well,
Anyway, Saul Moran is charged down the stairs. You run down the stairs into the kitchen door and through the great hall past that piano. And the second you get past that piano, you remember it's covered with a sheet. It starts playing, just banging this magnificent music that was just mildly creepy. After everything else that's happened, that starting to you're a disbeliever and everything's starting to shape up. But you get through that kitchen door, I assume, and inside you find there is like a cast iron stove that's been knocked over on its side, and a pipe that had connected it to the wall has been ripped out like a chimney pipe.
so like a wood stove.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's been knocked over, like someone's ripped it out of the wall, and there's one shelf that's just completely shattered, like crumpled, everything's fallen off of it, as if the bangs were maybe being ripped out of the wall and then hurled to crash into the shelf and has landed here. And as you walk in, and you two are just right behind him, hot on his heels, you see a knife that was laying on the floor, a great big old carving knife, floats up into the air. Now, when everybody sees that, everybody makes sanity rolls.
Okay.
It glints in the low light.
Yes.
And if you succeed, then you only lose 1 sanity.
Got it.
Then you only. It looks like all of you succeed, and you only lose 1 sanity. And then the knife comes flying across the room towards Saul Moran.
Who's gonna shoot at the frickin' knife?
All right. In that case, you may do so because your dexterity is what? 14?
It is.
In that case, you can shoot at the knife before anything happens. And it's a small target.
Well, I rolled an 18, which is more than
Enough to hit a small target in the darkness. And the knife spins in the air and hurls itself into the wall and sticks pretty deep. A couple inches deep in the good old-fashioned New England craftsmanship wall. A lot of force behind that. And you hate to think what would have happened if it had flung all the way into you.
it would have gone through me like a knife through me.
Through one butter.
That's accurate.
Anyway, as the horror of that wears off, suddenly every bit of cutlery in the entire kitchen levitates up into the air and pivots and turns and faces you
I don't got
guys.
enough
We have
bullets
time
for this.
To run.
Well, everybody dodge for the doorway as dozens of knives and forks.
Yes.
Not make it.
Oh no! You get mostly out of the door, but tearing into the back of your calves and the back of your thigh as you make it out the door is a couple of forks and a steak knife. Oh, and altogether, you take 7 points of damage as blood trickles down the back
7.
of your leg, and you are hurt badly.
That would make that's
Means you have 3 hit points left.
yeah, but that's actually more than half. So that would be a
That means that you.
major or whatever.
Well, what it means is
Wound.
that you might go into shock. Whatever your Constitution times 5 is, what is your Constitution?
11.
Then you need to roll a 55 or less, or you're going to go into to shock and lose consciousness. Well, the kitchen door slams behind you guys as you all skid out into the now quiet and Beethovenless Great Hall, and you see Rachel swoon for a moment, and then her eyes flicker. She falls to the ground. You can see there's a steak knife and 2 forks buried in the back of her leg, and she is fallen down unconscious.
Let's hope
grab her.
that the 20 points that we had extra, I put 20 points into first aid. Let's hope that pays off.
Let's hope.
But in order for it to pay off, I think we need to drag this broad outside, where these floaty knives, poltergeist knives, can't jam into her legs anymore or wherever.
Probably would be wise to get out of harm's way.
All right. Well, you want to try to pick her up, or you want to drag her? It's a smooth floor.
Come on, you're a bimbo. You can carry her.
I'm a bimbo.
Carry-
I got to carry her in front of Margo Macey.
All right. Yeah. You pick her up, and you go to the front door. I assume, or I guess you could go back into the kitchen and go out the back way. But I'll assume you go out the front door.
I think the kitchen is a place we'd like to avoid.
I concur, yes.
All right. Well, you get to the door and you open it, and suddenly a strange, otherworldly light shines in from outside. The sky is a deep, dark purple, and the stars against the night are almost like anti-lights. They're like black light stars. They're blacker than black. Blacker than space are the stars in the sky. And there's a pinkish purple sand howling across the landscape. And up on a hill, you can see there's a whole line of people crucified on X-shaped crosses. People of all different colors. Yellow people, purple people, red people. And it is absolutely horrific. And make sanity rolls as you see this.
Did we just conflate Cthulhu and Carcosa?
Well, they're part of the same overarching mythos. Yes. And if you failed that sanity roll, lose D8 sanity.
I'm glad I don't have to see that.
Yeah. Now, do you want to go outside or do you want to close the door?
Well, I don't think going... I mean, not
You don't
that...
want to go to Carcosa.
Saul doesn't know that this is Carcosa, I'm sure, but... And I'm not even sure it is, but I strongly suspect. But I don't think going to Carcosa, taking Rachel into Carcosa is going to be much better than staying in the house. So I'm just going to shut the fucking door.
You shut the fucking door, and then through the window...
Shut the front door.
And through the windows of the Great Hall and everything else, it just looks like rainy night in Arkham on a Halloween. But when you open that front door, it's like Gina Davis and Beetlejuice, you know. You open the front door and suddenly it's somewhere very different.
Well, let's get this dame laid down and get some first aid, get some cloth. We need to hopefully not go back in the kitchen. Are there curtains in here?
There's curtains. There's also...
Take my tie off, use that.
And there's another bedroom, of course, that you haven't been into yet. Well, there's presumably your uncle's bedroom as well.
Of course, if all the cutlery's already thrown, I don't know. I don't know if we should go back in the kitchen or not.
It's probably like a whole wall full of cutlery, embedded in it. In the back of the door has probably got...
I suppose it can always pull it out of the wall and throw it again, though. But water and cloth would be good.
Well, there is a bathroom on this lower floor, and you got to get through a study, but it's not. Your uncle did all his studying in his library. What they call a study is just a room where there was a desk and a radio and things like that. And there's a bathroom on the other side of that, and you can get wet towels and a few other things to prepare yourselves to make your first aid roll as best you can.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and make that first aid roll.
Yes.
All right, the points pay off, and we have a success, and so you will be restored of 1d3, and that's, we just roll a 6-sided dice, and 1 or 2 is a 1, a 3 or 4 is a 2, 5 or 6 is a 3, and that's how. Hey, you get 1, but you're not unconscious anymore. You come out of consciousness, your legs.
I still have
up.
3 hit points though, or do I get 1 hit point back?
Yeah, you got 1 hit point back.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I have 4.
So you have 4 hit points now, which should be all you should need. And that took a bit, though. That took a good 10 minutes,
And in that time, I'm assuming there were no further piano playings or cutlery.
No further
floating
strange
about.
events down here, unless during that time you went off by yourself and did something else.
I was specifically not willing to do that and get killed.
Anyway.
Ooh, I must have dazed off for a minute.
Yeah, there was some silverware stuck in on your calves, but Ms. Margo there got you all got them all taken out and got you put back in shape. Looks like you don't look like you're doing too good, though. I got to tell you, Rachel, you don't look
I'm a little
too good.
worse for wear.
But I got some bad news for you. If you open the front door, some other place is outside. It's not Arkham. I don't know where we're at. It looks like a different planet where they're crucifying people. So I don't think we should go out there. Normally, I would say let's get the hell out of here and never come back. But unfortunately, it looks like we're stuck for the moment.
I think you're taking goofballs.
Well, I'll open the front door then and show you.
Fine. I don't mind if I do. I'm gonna go march right in there.
Okay, you go over and you open the front door.
See, there's nothing.
Well, what you see is this glittering, fantastic city with minarets and spires. Look like something out of a storybook or a fairy tale, and beyond that is this deep, deep azure blue sea. Stormy looks like a gorgeous fantasy kingdom. There's this forest in between you and this great city that is sparkling, and they're little dragonflies, or are they fairies flittering about above the forest? You can see some big ruins of white marble in the distance.
This house is like a floating doorway to different dimensions.
I'm starting to think that might not be too far off the mark.
But this place, while certainly not Arkham, Massachusetts, definitely looks a little bit better than the last time you opened the front door.
Looks very inviting, actually. Better than this house.
I gotta say that does look better, but I don't know. I have a funny kind of feeling that it looks nice, but it's not so nice once you go there.
This house is
Oh, it's just an illusion. Has
quite
anyone tried to stick...
hostile, and if we have our choice to go into a lovely fairy tale, that horror that we just saw a few minutes ago.
The one with the knives in their legs? Right, thank you. I'll be here all week. But no, I tend to agree that I don't know, but it's rough, right? Because we go out there, it looks nice, and then all of a sudden there's like spooks and poltergeists and ghosts and stuff out there.
They're in here too.
Well, that's true.
I say we stick a broom handle through and see what happens to that. See if if there is something behind it, or if it just incinerates.
You definitely aren't a dumb door. That's for sure.
I never have been.
Clever
That does sound like
idea.
a good plan.
I went to
Clever
private
idea.
school.
There's probably a broom in the kitchen.
Very funny.
I'm gonna march right in the kitchen. I'm not afraid of no silverware.
You better be. You only got 3 hit points left. Or 4.
Well, you open the kitchen door, and the whole back of the kitchen door is just like peppered with cutlery. You know, there's even a couple of spoons wedged in there. That's how hard they slammed into the door and that wall. But kitchen's quiet. It's a mess, but it's quiet. And you can see the rain through the back kitchen windows and the overgrown back garden swaying in the breeze outside during the storm. Do you want to go get the broom?
And I'm gonna just stand in the front doorway, not go outside, but just while she's investigating the kitchen, I'm just gonna stand in the open door.
Okay.
I'm gonna make sure the door is like, I'm gonna jam it open somehow. I'll take one of these forks or something, and, or a knife, and just kind of like try to wedge it.
Okay. You stick it in a little crack so it won't close all the way.
Yeah, so it doesn't slam closed when I'm trying to run through with this broom.
Well, while you're doing that, and you turn around and start sticking the fork in there, suddenly there's a huge sound of metal banging, and the stove hurls across the room. What's your dexterity?
12?
Yeah, roll a 60 or less to avoid getting smashed by the heavy wood-burning stove. Oh, no! Well, luckily for you, it is a glancing blow. And we'll say it hit the back of your elbow and slammed your hand into the door and like jammed your finger. It's 1 point of damage. And you were lucky on that one.
Back down to 3.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that we should just avoid that kitchen altogether.
Did I get the broom, though? Or did
Yeah,
I,
you got the broom.
All right, yes. That's the last time we go in there.
Close the door behind you, would you? I don't want the stove or none of the stuff flying out the door.
Flying out the room.
Who was the... I wonder who the cook was. It's an angry cook.
Well, as you go over to the open front door looking out onto this dreamlike, fantastical world, you do what with the broom? You stick it out the front door?
Yeah, see what happens.
You stick it out the front door and the bristles wave in the breeze. It's not raining out there. It's not night.
So we can actually see it go through.
Mm-hmm. Right out onto the front porch.
But there's always... Okay, now I want to bring it back in.
All
Try
right.
to.
Yeah.
Does it go in?
Yeah.
All right, so looks like we'll have a way back. But I don't see how this will help our investigation any. Maybe safer, but...
Yes, I'm not entirely sure what we should do at this point. I mean, we're supposed to take inventories of books and wine cellars, but it just, well...
Well, I'll tell you why I'm here. I think, as I've said, there's something fishy about this murder, and well, frankly, Miss, what's your name?
Margo.
Margo. You're the number one suspect because you have the most to gain.
Suspect?
Well, think about it. You inherited all of this, and and the young girl, Constance, she would have inherited, but of course she's dead too, or missing. So isn't that convenient?
Well, I'll tell you what, Sally. I resent that.
Well, it's the hard facts. I'm sorry. I just.
How would I have anything to do with knives hurling about and strange hauntings and this supernatural phenomena? It's simply ridiculous.
The little girl's laugh reverberates through the house, coming from the upper floor.
That the little girl you strangled?
Echoes down the stairway.
Well,
I guess we got to get back up there and finish looking in the bedrooms. I don't like it, but I got no other
we're
ideas.
gonna have suspicions of people, Miss Rachel, honey, there. With your attitude and your accusations, this seems like it would be an awfully good story for you, mighty juicy haunted house with all your
it's a soap
tentacles
opera.
and demon tails and all these crazy hooey.
And all that's missing is two lovers like you two. You had an affair with each other, isn't that right?
Who? What?
You acted like you didn't know each other, but you did.
What the hell are you talking
You're
about?
making whoopee.
Jeez.
These broads are crazy. No.
Broads, you're including me in the crazy. This is obviously the crazy lady over here coming up with these conspiracies and just crazy talk.
Well, I just don't. We just don't need to have a cat fight.
I'm a singer, for crying out loud. I'm a singer. I sing and I act and I dance.
Call that a job? You've never worked a day in your life.
When you say that you're a singer, there's a little girl's voice upstairs, that same one that was laughing, begins singing a song. A little nursery rhyme.
Is it one that any of us recognize?
Oh yes, it's one everybody recognizes.
Well, I'm gonna go investigate this singing little girl because I think it might be the little girl. It might be a tentacle little girl. It miite be a demon girl.
All right.
I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna go check it out.
It might be Gareth
Saul,
Mosby
just
singing like a little girl.
let's use your head. You seem like a smart man, as well as a bimbo.
Yeah.
Smart bimbo.
And if this is a ghost or some kind of spiritual haunting, what is it that you think a gun's going to do to protect us? Do you know anything about the supernatural? Do you know how to fight these things? Miss Accusatory Conspiracy Theory lady over here, she's certainly never going to be any help because she just thinks it's us and a hoax.
Hello?
So what are we going to do to protect ourselves?
Did I hear her? Are you whispering to him, or am I in earshot of this?
I think you heard it all.
Insurance. I was not trying to be discreet.
I never said you were making this all up. I just think maybe you being the prime suspect, all you had to do was murder your uncle and his adopted daughter, and then the ghost stuff is just purely
A coincidence?
A coincidence.
could be.
I got an idea. I don't like it, but I got an idea. All right. You want to hear my ideas?
I do.
I think we ought to go upstairs. Now, I
Can't
think...
speak for dumb Dora over here.
Oh, now I'm a dumb door.
Yes. Now you're a dumb Dora.
Look, you're both dumb doors if you're going to have a cat fight in the middle of a haunting. All right. Now, here's my idea. Now, I think that the singing is designed to lure us in, right? So I think we not go to the singing. I think we got to go to the library and find a book that tells us how to deal with this shit, because I think you're right. I think the gun's not going to do so much. You know what I'm saying? Like a gun against a ghost is not working. So I think we got to go up to the library, because there's only one R in the library, and we got to go up to the library and look and see if there's a book that will tell us how to deal with this supernatural crap.
I think that's an excellent idea. But
Well,
I
it's
have to
right.
metagamingly
I mean, metagaming night's a terrible idea.
Let me metagamingly say
Just
that
sanity
you
points.
when we were talking about spending points, Sean was like, "You won't need library use."
Oh yeah.
And now
We were discouraged when making our characters from taking
we
library.
were in
I
fact
did. I said they wouldn't need
discouraged.
it. No research trips to Arkham, Miskatonic University Library necessary.
However, I don't know about you guys, but my starts at library use is 75, which is still pretty.
Oh, that's way
Oh,
better
that's
than mine.
excellent. Yes, mine's okay. Cool.
Mine's like
Thank goodness.
25.
I have
so.
25.
I didn't
as
take
well.
any points, so 75 is my default, and that's that's.
Well,
pretty
for
good.
that profession, yeah.
Yes.
So, the library doors are just right at the
Now-
top of the stairs.
Yes, I believe I'm the one to do this sort of research. Since you pronounced it library, you probably don't know how to
I
read
agree,
much.
but I still think you're a dumb Dora.
Well, we'll see about that.
I just want to make that clear. My
Okay.
feelings about this.
Who wants to
You're a
open
bug-eyed Betty.
Who wants to open the library doors? The library doors.
I'm march
You, I
right
guess,
in.
right?
Yes.
All
I
right.
always march right in because I'm a confident woman.
Okay.
Or an idiot.
Confident when we're 4 hit points.
You go to barge your way right in, and when you start to open the door, which opens inwards, it's like somebody pushes it, closes it shut right as you open it. Of course, you weren't really pushing. It surprised you. If you want to open it again,
Rude.
all right, you gonna try to open it again?
Well, it certainly doesn't want me here entering, but yes, I don't take no for an answer. I'm going to try again.
Okay, so and your strength is 8, right?
Yes.
All right. Man, roll 40% or less to push your way into this room.
Got it.
And you do.
Excuse me.
Push your way into the room. And it's dark in here, but there's a light switch right next to the door. I assume you turn the lights on.
Yes.
It's not like a huge, gigantic library, obviously, but he's got it wall to wall, just on one wall, full of old volumes. He's got a few pedestals sitting out on some tables with open books. And you're disappointed to realize most of these books aren't even in English. There's a lot of books that look like they're probably in German, and one book that's open that's in Latin. You can look around for English, some book in English if you want to, because I know you can't translate any of these other languages. There could be something useful in here in English, you never know, but this would be where you make a library use roll.
All right.
And you do find a book in English. And it takes a little bit to read it. It's going to take you have to commit to about 20 minutes of flipping through this thing. Meanwhile, while Rachel is looking through this old book in English, and it was printed in Salem, Massachusetts in 1644. And the title is in Latin, the liber, long word that starts with an I. And the rest of it, though, passages of it are in English, and there are other parts that are in Hebrew and in Latin. But it's a small book, like the size of like a paperback novel would be today. Only it's a hardback book. So as you're flipping through that in the lamplight, is there anything else the two of you are doing? Because that's a long 20 minutes. There's a phonograph player in the corner if anyone wants to put on some records.
That doesn't seem like a very good idea.
There is a liquor cabinet in here as well, and there is a metal spiral stairway over in one corner that goes up to a trapdoor in the ceiling. You remember that's how you got up to the roof where the telescope was.
Now, while I'm studying, I'm going to keep an eye on you two because I believe you might be conspiring, and I sort of starting to feel like a third wheel. You two lovers.
I don't think we know. I don't think we even met before. No. I mean, met like speaking out of character. I don't think we. I think you just called my office and were like, "Hey,
Yes.
need a private dick," and I'm like, "I got a private dick for you," and
And the rest is history.
Well, so what, do you guys do anything while he's doing it? You just
Yes.
rest for 20 minutes?
Yeah, I'd like to search around.
I would like to look in the liquor cabinet and see if there is anything other. I'm not looking for liquor. I'm looking for, anything else, potions type things.
Well, there's just liquor. Canadian and Scottish whiskey.
Just liquor over here.
Okay.
And
See, I knew something was going on.
A little finger of
You got a
scotch
liquor over there?
might go down nice and smooth
do
right
you guys
now.
want to take a little
I'll
finger
take
of
a finger of
scotch?
Finger of what?
scotch.
I'm gonna finger and then I'm gonna lick it.
Yes.
Do you want a finger of liquor? You want a little finger of scotch?
I do. I want a little finger of scotch.
Okay, that might help settle your nerves.
Some
You
Margo-
think?
Yes, I think
Yeah.
I'd like to settle my nerves a little. This is all very unnerving.
Okay, well,
Very unnerving. I could be at the jazz club this evening,
You could
singing
be.
and dancing with my friends, and
Could be
here
at
I
the-
am with knives hurling and getting accusations of murder and all kinds of crazy stuff.
And
This is-
adultery or whatever.
Yes, that too.
Is
Well,
it
you-
adultery if you're not married? I don't even know.
you pour yourself a couple fingers of scotch. And what's like the best kind of scotch?
You are kind of handsome, though.
Oh, well, in that case, I will take a little bit of scotch. I don't know. I mean, like a single malt,
Yeah, it's a nice single malt.
12-year something or other.
Oh, it goes down smooth. Well, you pour it, and you're pouring 2 glasses. It sounds like. Anyway, and you pour them, and you pick up the glass, and then what's your power? Your power stat.
15.
Okay, that's pretty good. You got a strong force of personality, and roll a 65 or less as you raise the glass to your lips.
17.
Ooh, that's nice. For a second, you feel compelled with this urge to take the glass and smash it into your own face. And your hand even begins to move, and you fight it for a second. You fight the impulse. Man, maybe you were just a little more stressed out than you thought.
Oh, my.
And nothing similar happens when you pick up your glass, Saul.
I'm going to shoot that bad boy down. Toss it back.
As will I. I will enjoy my.
I'm not going to sip this. I'm going to toss it back.
shooting scotch.
Okay. And
That was intense. Did you feel it? Never mind.
perhaps it was just your imagination.
Perhaps.
Anyway, Saul, what's your power?
12. 45.
Oh, that's great. You also just feel this urge for a second. In fact, you start walking over to the spiral staircase, like you're not thinking about it. Like, hey, I'm going to go upstairs for a minute. And then halfway to the stairs, you're like, wait, where did I get the idea to go upstairs for a minute? Something's not right here. You definitely felt compelled and seriously urged to go upstairs. But you fought off this impulse. It feels alien now.
What's
Both of you. It
funny
feels
is
like something's trying to dominate your minds.
I
both of
actually
you.
was thinking about going upstairs, but now I'm seriously second guessing that thought.
Anyway, all that takes a while, but once you flip through this book, there's actually, the English is hard to read because it's really archaic. But there's a charm.
There's like E's on every word.
There is, but it's a little rhyme actually, and I'm not going to go into the whole rhyme here, but it's a charm to deflect harm. And once you have this little rhyme in your head, then you can say this rhyme when you're going to take damage, and you can spend an amount of magic points to cancel out damage
Nice.
until you have no more magic points. After reading this book and flipping through it, Rachel, please add D10, 1d10 to your Cthulhu Mythos
Alright.
score. And you know just
Oh, 1d10?
Yep. And you just know a tiny bit more about it at this
5.
point. Now there's some corresponding things with that having to do with your maximum sanity and so on and so forth, but we won't get into all that right now because there's just so much going on in this moment. So there you find yourselves in the library. You found that. You don't find anything else that would give you any indication how to hurt anything, but certainly how to help yourself. I know you guys came over looking for some clues about some way to help yourselves against this threat in this house, but you still don't know exactly what it is. You heard a little girl's voice, definitely like a luring voice. And when I say it's coming from upstairs, I meant upstairs, like definitely up those spiral stairs.
Oh, that's where the girls singing was coming from?
Yeah, from all the way up, all the way to the upper levels. So your idea of a lure is now even doubly reinforced. Somebody wants you up there. Something wants you up there.
I don't know. I mean, I kind of feel like we should all go up there, but it seems
Maybe
like...
we ought to go do the exact opposite and go to the lowest point, go to the basement.
I'm sure there's something interesting in the basement of a house like this as well.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
Well, you know, I think, seeing as how that...
Why don't we split up?
I don't think that's a very good idea at all.
And yet it happens so often in horror stories. Have you ever noticed that?
It's true.
Because somebody thinks it's a great idea.
All right, well, you guys go down to the basement. I'm going to go upstairs.
No, I'm sticking
I'm
with
gonna
the
go to Carcosa.
I'm sticking with the bimbo. All the way. 100% about the bimbo.
Okay.
All right, well, you want to come upstairs? And I think that... Did you say there was a telescope up there or something? Isn't
Yeah,
that...
well,
there
yeah,
used to
yeah.
be.
My
She remembered there used to be.
uncle had one up there. Yeah.
You showed her the star Aldebaran.
Yeah, Aldebaran. We'd look at the stars, look at the he told me about the constellations. Quite beautiful.
Yeah. Aldebaran's only visible from October to about March. You remember that snippet now? Back in your mind. Said it was a very special place for him. Yeah. Anyway, so you guys gonna split up and Rachel's gonna go downstairs?
No, I'm not actually.
That's too bad. I love a good split up, you know.
I'm not with
Like
3 hit points.
Shaggy and Scoob go down and investigate the basement while Velma and Fred, or really it's more of Daphne and Fred in this situation. But and Velma can just wait in the library.
I'm not going to let you two lovebirds make whoopee and...
I was just going to show her Aldebaran.
You're hopped up. That's the
Baron.
conclusion I've finally come
that's
to.
my
Is you're
nickname.
just hopped up.
Show her Aldebaran.
Well, do you want to hop up the stairs together, or do you want to go investigate any other part of this house? Because you get the chilling realization that you're not sure that you're going to be able to leave this place. As long there clearly is some kind of magic.
We've got to...
And if you had 2 weeks in this library, you might be able to find some way to dispel whatever is on that door. But
Well, I don't know what to do. I mean, if we could get out of here, I'd just be inclined to, get out of here and pass this mess along to somebody else. This doesn't seem like something I want to inherit.
Well,
Seems like a
it's
big wet
always
blanket
a matter of...
in a world where I could be out having fun.
just means we had to get to the bottom of this mystery. Once we solve it, the spirits will be at rest. That's how it usually works.
Well, I'm glad
now-
you know so much about it.
Well, I don't know, but I think,
Sounds like a bunch of hooey.
Rachel might be a little cuckoo, thinking
Little?
that we're making the whoopies, but the truth of the matter is, I think going into the basement might be the best idea because whatever it is trying to get me to go upstairs, they might. So if it wants us to go upstairs, then possibly going downstairs is the thing to do.
I trust your instincts.
I'm not sure I do anymore, but I got no better ideas.
I mean, I felt a strange compulsion myself earlier, and I don't know that I share it. But
you heard, there is a wine cellar in the basement.
yes,
Yeah, you know that much.
and that's true. That was part of
Giggle juice.
Yeah, get some of that giggle
get
juice.
some of that giggle juice.
That's right.
We use a little right now. That scotch is a little strong.
Okay.
Plus, I felt like I wanted to smash myself in the face with it. I mean, I didn't say that out loud.
Oh, yeah. Well, fearing the upper attic and tower level, I'll assume you guys go back out through the library doors onto the balcony. You're still up on that second level. You haven't been into, Mosby's bedroom yet, or his little solarium room. And you haven't been into the guest room, which was Margo's old room when she stayed here briefly as a teenager.
You know what? Before we go downstairs, let's just clear these and make sure
Clear
there's
this,
nothing funny
clear the
going on.
rooms, sure.
Oh, I sure want to get a look inside Margo's room, see where she hid the evidence of murder.
Bet you do.
Well, of course, you haven't been in that room in a very, very long
Being
time.
off the trolley as you are.
I'm sure that you told everyone you haven't been back in ages, but We'll see.
You don't know. Know from nothing. Don't know from nothing. You're all wet. You don't even know it.
Well, you
Just keep beating your gums.
You gum flapping broad.
Well, I'm not a flapper. I know that. I never flapped a day in my life.
Well, you walk over to where the guest bedroom is, past the little girl's room that you've already been into. And when you get to that door, it is locked. Does anyone know how to pick a lock? Or would someone like to smash the door in?
Well, I have
Or would you
locksmith.
That's what the appropriate. That's a good skill to use.
Someone could roll a 1. You never know. Well, that's what I have. It's a one.
Well, Saul knows a little something about these sorts
Being a
of
private
things.
dick, you gotta. When you're a private dick, there are locks you gotta pick. But not this time.
Oh no! I don't think it's gonna happen.
Roll a 1.
Everybody's taking a turn trying to open this door.
I'm just kicking the fucking thing open then.
All right. In that case, strength times 5 or less.
It'll probably be fine from 75.
And here we go. Bam.
42.
Splinter. Crack. The door flies off its hinge. Boom. And it's like no one's been in this room since you left it, 8 to 10 years ago or whenever it was.
Looks pretty suspicious there, doesn't it, honey?
Well, everything's kind of covered in...
In case you can't tell, that's sarcasm.
Everything's covered in dust. And there's a vanity table and a bed with a canopy, and a cover over it. And in here, though, there's a breeze and you can hear the rain a lot because there is an open window in this room.
Who opened the window?
And it looks out onto the carriage house roof. And that's what's interesting about this room. There is a wardrobe almost identical to that one that was in the little girl's room, and it's also closed, and you haven't looked under the bed yet. But other than that, the room is fairly bare.
I'm actually far more interested in the open window that looks out upon the carriage house, because is it Arkham out there?
Yes, it is. Of course, it was Arkham out the windows downstairs, too. It was only when you would open a door or try to go outside that you would find yourself seeing another place.
Is there a ledge? Or is it a drop down to the carriage house?
It's a drop of about 4 feet down to the carriage house roof. And of course, it's still raining.
Somebody's been in here. I'm gonna check this room, see if there's any fingerprints in the dust at all.
Well, there's not even
Or footprints.
There's no footprints in the dust at all. There's no
Ghost.
There's just been a little disturbance in the dust on the windowsill, of course, because the window's open.
So the some rain is getting.
Yeah.
Did you leave the window open when you left?
It was years ago. I hardly remember. It was in the late summer, so it's possible.
All right.
Surely my uncle came in here at some point. It doesn't really look like it, though.
And you were waiting for him, ready to pounce.
You're such a pouncy little. I can't even think of a literary name. Pouncy little
Princess.
Pouncing princess.
Are there curtains?
Yes, swaying eerily in the breeze.
I will take them down and create a rope.
All right. Again, it's just a 4-foot drop.
Yes, but I want to be able to get back up. I can't jump 4 feet.
That's a good idea.
It's curtains for you.
It's curtains for you, sister.
Yeah, you can make a serviceable rope within a few minutes that way.
And in doing so, I will tie it off to something heavier or, fixed in the room if there's something I can tie it to. I mean, like the bed probably wouldn't work.
Well, the bed's pretty good 4-poster, canopy bed. That probably works. That or the wardrobe. Pretty solid. The doorknob. A number of things.
So yeah, I'll tie it off to like the foot of the wardrobe and throw it out the window and climb down to the, or I can leap down. I mean, I'm not, to the roof, but I'm climb back up.
When you go as you're going through the window, the rest of you guys see teeth form on the bottom of the window, and it slams down like it becomes this gaping maw and tries to bite you. Roll your dex times 2 or less to get out of the way and not be bitten. Oh,
I
look
rolled
at
an
that.
8.
He rolls an 8. You barely. Now, in order to do that, you're going to have to get back in instead of, leap all the way out.
Obviously, right.
Even then, it takes off your hat, but they put a little hole in your hat, and that falls to the ground, and the thing slams shut, and then upstairs, there's that little girl's laugh again. And the voice says, "Come take us home."
I'm gonna kill that bitch.
She wants to go to hell, back where she came from.
Tell me, Miss Dora,
That's not my name.
how do these teethy windows and stabbing kitchen utensils and weird compulsions and voices that we're hearing, how does this fit into your grand murder plot that you had all figured out before we got here?
Well, this is the aftermath of what you've done. This is the chaos that you've created. This evil. You've created evil incarnate.
You're off your trolley. Tell it to Sweeney.
I don't think that Margot's capable of murder.
I don't think Rachel's playing with the full deck.
I'm not sure about that either. She thinks that we're, making the whoopies and doing all this
Let me see
stuff.
that book of slang you've got in there. I could need it. I'm all out of slang.
Anyone want to investigate any other parts of this room?
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, let's look under the bed
and the
then
wardrobe.
the wardrobe, just like we did the other room.
I'll let you guys investigate.
What are you going to do?
Watch them investigate.
Okay.
We're investigating very thoroughly.
Watch them get their limbs bit off by a different...
Rachel's gonna
Objects.
investigate
Well,
us investigating.
I think that's just because of the outside. It was like a monster waiting for us to go out.
Yeah.
Well,
Something obviously does not want us to get out the door.
there's nothing under the bed except dust.
Just some dust down here.
And you open the wardrobe,
Chomp.
and there's nothing in the wardrobe. Make spot hidden rolls just in case there's anything odd about the wardrobe. Those of you who are actively investigating, I don't think you
so.
think.
No.
Well, I'll take a look.
Let's see if
Can't
Saul,
hurt.
see if he private eyes anything on it.
Holy balls!
Holy moly! Yeah, this thing, you're quite certain this whole wardrobe, which is a good, it's as tall as a person, easily. It's got a false back. It should be a little deeper than it is. You can knock on and see that it's hollow. Something is hidden back there in the wardrobe.
Well, I'm going to open it. And I will meet Mr. Tumnus.
Yes. You'll go to the world of Narnia. Well, do you want to open it? Or?
I do.
Okay. And you're not sure how to really open it. There's not like a knob or anything, but you kind of push at it. You see that it tilts, like spin around. And you spin it towards you. It takes a few seconds for this to register, but make sanity rolls as you see this desiccated corpse, this body that's standing there. Like it was right on the other side of the pivoting wall, and you've just pivoted it right towards both of you.
I'm assuming I see.
And you can
that
see
as
that
well.
too. So make sanity rolls as the thing flips
I feel
around. It looks like
horribly.
raisin flesh, like all the moisture's out of it.
Got it.
And if you failed that, then lose D6 sanity. And if you made it, just lose 1 sanity. And you spin around, it then opens its eyes and lurches out at you. And I don't know, does anyone have a 17 dexterity?
No.
No. In that case, it reaches out with both hands. And who was right in the way?
That would be
you.
That would be me, yeah.
It reaches out with both hands. You see they're long. They're not like claws per se, but if you let your nails grow for quite some time, and they're nasty. They look like they could do some damage.
Sing the rhyme.
And
Sing the rhyme.
being completely shocked. We needed a 50. It got a 48. How unlucky for you. And if you're going to sing the rhyme, you should start singing before it rolls its damage.
When what's come upon my flesh and grievous wounds, I suffer the simple rhyme makes spiritual master service damage buffer. Yeah. There it is. I said it. Magics.
Yeah, I guess that's close enough. Because he was actually reading something. That's like a Klaatu Verata Nikto moment right there. But incoming damage of 7 points rakes across your flesh, but because you said the charm, expend 7 magic points instead, and you will not take that damage. And the wounds are covered up almost instantly, and even your rent garments heal themselves as well. The power of magic. But in the next millisecond, the thing is attacking again, and yes, it is still just one turn that it's had. And I think that Rachel is a little further away than Margo. So Margo, with the other hand, this desiccated undead fiend.
What harm would come upon my flesh and grievous wounds I'd suffer? The simple rhyme makes a spiritual mesh to serve as a damage buffer.
You take 10 points of damage, but again, and this would have been to your jaw and neck, and would have scarred that pretty face, but instead
That pretty face
is
butt.
miraculously healed.
But my face bud.
It is your face bud is not harmed.
Bug-eyed but face bud.
Bug-eyed face bud Betty.
Bug-eyed face butt Betty.
Face bud Betty Rambling. Well, so you see all this damage miraculously heal. But I forgot the most important part. Every time you ever do that, you lose 1 sanity. So both of
Jesus.
you mark out a sanity. Okay. Anyway, it's still right there. Who's got the next highest dexterity? That was 17.
I have
Who
a
got
14.
16? No one have higher than a 14?
I also
Saul
have a 14.
Moran, bimbo of action. What do you do?
Well, I guess I'm just gonna shoot at it.
All right, you can shoot twice with that gun.
Well, I will shoot once when I will hit.
Man, you've been rolling good.
I have.
Been rolling good. Roll damage for that. And you hit its like shoulder and part of its neck and collarbone, and
It's gonna be 9 points of damage.
9 for a significant amount of damage. And what happens is just chunks of it just fly off when you hit its collarbone and shoulder. Just chunks of its shoulder and collarbone fly off. There's no blood, it's like powdery, and this nasty smell fills the room, and you can't tell from its behavior whether it feels any pain or not, but there's a big chunk of its body missing now. And who's got the next highest dexterity? Would that be
That
We're
would be
tied, I
me.
believe.
Oh, okay, so what are you doing, Margo, in this time of crisis? And Margo, as you really get a good look at this thing now, and there's something about the cut of its jacket and its little sweater vest, you realize to your horror, make a sanity roll as you realize, it's your Uncle Gareth Mosby.
No, I fail.
You will lose D8 sanity.
Oh,
So that 8, a terrible blow. And in fact, I am afraid because of that much sanity loss at once, that you are in danger of temporary insanity. And what is your intelligence?
10.
Okay, well, then roll 30. You have a 30% chance of not going temporarily insane. You barely keep it together, but that was just like so much. You just almost snapped in that moment. And I'm even going to argue that it robs you of action.
Right.
And you probably gets a good scream.
Yes.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Rachel, you see all this happening to you. What do you do?
Fire into melee.
I love it. Firing a melee is one of my favorite things to do. And so, a softer, well, a different sounding gunshot from a revolver 38. Mm-hmm. Yeah. As you fire at the horrible thing, I'm going to apply a -10 penalty for a tiny target because you're trying to get basically underneath Saul's armpit and around
Yeah.
her.
That'll make it a 50-50.
Well, at least it wasn't. At least you didn't miss by more than a significant amount. So part of the wardrobe door chips, bang, and then in the next instant, our desiccated undead friend.
Do I get another shot? You said something about that. I wasn't sure.
Well, did you shoot only once before?
Yes.
Okay, good. Go ahead and shoot again at the end, and that is how the rules do it. I have been kind of let people do both their shots at once, but this is when your second shot will go off.
So
Bam, bam. Lashing out with his other hand, he does hook the soft part of your hand, not your gun hand, but the other hand, Saul, and is going to do some damage to you unless you were to speak the charm again. I don't know how many magic points you have left.
Not
And you have to make
many.
and you have to make the decision before I roll. That's how the spell works.
I have more hit points than I have magic points, let's put it that way.
Okay. And you will take 5 points of damage, and your left hand is bleeding and aching. That nice little meaty part between your thumb and your forefinger down deep in there. Give you a nice grip there. Anyway, in the very next millisecond of time, what do you do, Saul Moran?
I'm going to attempt to shoot him again.
All right, wait a minute, very close range. I'm going to allow.
I will.
Was going to give you a bonus, but you
I
didn't
don't
need it.
need it this time.
And go ahead and roll the damage with your gun.
Just 4.
All right. Well, altogether you've done 11 points of damage to this thing so far. And in the next instant of time, what happens, Margo?
Margo is going to run out of the room, and I'm going to go get books to hurl at this thing from afar.
Okay, you charge out of the room and run towards the library. And as you get to the library door and you start to open it, the same thing that happened the first time Rachel tried to open it. You pull it open and then boom, something pulls it shut. Make a strength roll against it. What is your strength?
Oh, like an 8. Yeah, it's an 8.
Okay, in that case, you have a 35% chance of opening the door against the strength that's pulling against you. And you can't, and it slams shut again. And then there's more laughter from upstairs. Just come in and take me home.
Well, open the damn door and maybe I will.
Take me home.
Tonight, I don't want to let you
Go till you see the door opens, and you see Eddie Money in a wind machine with a scarf.
Rest in peace, Eddie Money.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's right, dude.
Yeah,
I
rest
forgot
in
about
peace,
that.
Eddie Money.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Shaken. We are shaken with fear on this installment of Goonies World. But back to the action. It's not Eddie Money, you see, but door does open by itself. Do you want to walk in?
Oh, hell no.
Okay, well, we're going to cut away from you for a moment and go back to the fight in the guest bedroom when it is Rachel's turn. Are you also firing your gun again?
Yes.
Both of you guys just unloading into this thing. And you can also fire your gun twice, so
Alright.
this is your first shot.
Nope.
All right, now, this, and then another...
I tagged the thing.
That is more like it with the 45 auto.
Oh, for 12.
Oh, nice. Even though you also fire and do some damage, you can tell even as the bullets are leaving your gun. And you hit the jaw, first the jaw, and then up on the, right underneath the eyeball of this thing, and his head just falls apart. Doesn't explode. It's not like any blood or gore. It just falls apart like particle board, you know. And it's pretty horrific. And yet it falls apart, falls to the ground. And as it falls apart, right before his jaw falls off, he says, "Take my baby out."
You know, for somebody who wants us to do him a favor, they keep fucking around with us pretty good and doing like hurting
That's
us.
true.
They have
Apparently,
trouble
they've never heard of
communicating.
asking politely.
Well, you,
You
of
get more
course...
flies with honey than you do with vinegar, and obviously these spirits don't know that.
Well, Margo, you, of course, are by yourself saying that into a library. Now, it's not like they're very far away, but they are down at the front of the house, and you're
Yeah,
at the
I'm
back
the
of the
cuckoo
house.
one. I can hear her talking to herself from over here.
Maybe she's talking. Maybe she found somebody. Maybe she's talking to somebody over there. We got to go over
Talking
there.
to a ghost. She's in league with him. I knew it.
In league with the ghosts?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
You
anyway,
think she's sleeping with the ghosts too?
well, if you guys do run up to her,
Tell
then
it to Sweeney, and so's your old man.
you see she's standing there in front of the open door. I mean, you have no way to know it just opened by itself in front of her, and that was, I believe, you were hesitating to go in because it opened by itself.
Yes.
Yeah. The little girl is now silent. But the trap door that was at the top of the spiral stairs, it's open too.
Oh shit! So I assume we pull up behind at this point.
Yeah, you pull it behind, and you can see this now at this point.
So, yes.
So this little girl, she's a little girl, just
she
a girl.
says she
Like, the
wants
room
to
is-
go home. She says she wants to go home.
Where's home,
I
kid?
don't know. It can't be anywhere good. I guess I didn't think to ask. She freaked me out.
Well, I'm guessing this must be Constance.
Well,
So the girl's like standing here.
No.
Oh, I misunderstood. Sorry.
Yep.
No,
It's
it's just
her
the voice
voice.
she's talking to.
Okay, gotcha. So, she wants us to take her home because, like, the desiccated. Well, your uncle, rest in peace. I guess it was, but
Pieces.
yeah. But he said to take my baby home or something. But then she keeps saying she wants to go home, but I don't know where that is. And
I know where it's in hell.
Well, I don't want to go there just
No,
to take some
send her home.
some kid.
We don't have to
I
go
don't-
to hell. We just send her there by killing her, I think, or destroying her spirit.
Well, I don't know how to do that. Do we just call her names?
I believe that's called cyberbullying. That's how you
Yes.
destroy someone's spirit.
Quick, let's get a Twitter mob together.
Well, anyway, the voice again, frustratingly silent now. But you could try to go up the stairs. And see what that's where the
that's
voice has been
an
coming. Get the
option.
feeling that's where
Originally, yes,
everything's
it's like
been emanating
everything's trying to get us upstairs. So our plan was to go downstairs, but then we decided to check out the room.
Clear the right.
from. So you can still go
So-
downstairs.
We could still go downstairs, or we could try to communicate from where we are. Maybe we just call up the stairs. Where's your home? Is it Constance? Where's your home?
There is no answer now.
Okay. Downstairs it is.
If she don't want to talk, we're just gonna go downstairs and see what's in the basement because there can't be anything creepy down there.
All right, you guys retrace your steps and you walk out of the room. You walk down the stairs. Now, to get down to the basement, you're gonna have to go back into the kitchen.
Oh fuck!
Said I wasn't going back in there.
Well, you go upstairs. We'll go down to the basement. Actually, that sounds like a terrible idea.
It doesn't sound so bad to me.
Of course, you want me to be stuck with forks and knives.
Well, no, we'll go to the kitchen, to the basement. You go upstairs and find the little girl to bring her home.
I always love a good split up.
That seems
Not gonna happen.
that seems dangerous.
If you're refusing to go in the kitchen, what are you going to do? Stand in the living room and cower?
He could play the piano, or she could play the piano. You know how to play the piano? You know to
course
tickle
I
the
do.
ivories.
I know how to tickle a lot of things, including ivories.
Do you guys go back into the
A
kitchen?
quiff, are ya?
What did you call me?
A regular ivory tickler, you are.
Well, do you guys walk back into the kitchen and go downstairs?
I think we should investigate the basement. I think we should just run through the kitchen really, really fast.
Yeah, that's kind of
Just,
thing. Just
just
dart through.
ankle it as fast as we can.
More doing more work with the knees than the ankles at that point, I think. But I think that's probably a good idea.
Okay, you're gonna run across the kitchen, all of you?
Yeah.
All right. Margo, you guys get halfway across the kitchen, and you're bound towards that basement door, or the door of the stairs that lead down to the cellars, and the stove that's already been hurled around the room a few times. You guys hear it and flies across the room right towards you.
When harm comes upon my flesh and grievous wounds I'd suffer, the simple rhyme makes spiritual mess to serve as a damage buffer.
Okay, well, you read that thing as this thing flies in towards you, and it's gonna like smash into you for 11 points of damage unless you spend that many magic points because you said the poem.
Okay, so let me ask you this. If I don't, can I use the remaining magic points that I have and then take the balance
Yes,
and damage?
that's how it works.
Okay.
Soak up as much of it as you can.
Okay.
Well, this wasn't the greatest idea we ever
You
had.
guys turn around from the safety of the basement stairs, and you see her. This great big thing rolls off where it hit her.
How many did you say? 13?
11.
11. Okay, I'm doing.
And then,
That's right.
as you're laying there, the stove door opens. Into where they put in the firewood, and you guys can't see it from your perspective in the doorway, but Margo, you see the oven door opens, and inside there's of course just like old bits of firewood and charcoal, because there have been some vagrants in here, and inside though you see stars, and there's a pulsing star that looks familiar, and the little girl's voice again.
Take me home. Read the poem. Take me home. Read the poem.
What poem?
Take me home. Up and read. Up and read.
Where's your home?
And that star just pulses again
Where's your
in the
home?
darkness.
Where's your home?
The pulsing star is your only answer.
That's where she's from.
Her home is Aldebaran?
What's the name of that star?
Aldebaran, wasn't it?
Aldebaran?
Yeah, Aldebaran.
Well, I don't have a spaceship. I don't know what she's thinking.
Well, I suspect we've wondered if perhaps this house is a dimensional door. Perhaps there is
Constance,
some way, and she says something about a poem. Perhaps there's a word, spells.
I know
to
what we've got to do. We've
get
got
it
to throw her in the
aligned
oven.
with the proper
That's
dimension.
the gateway right there.
Well, you go upstairs and you go get her. You bring it down here, and you try throwing her in the oven. Tell us how that goes.
Constance,
We'll wait.
we're down here in the kitchen.
From the basement, which you haven't got down into yet, you hear a low, long, rumbling gurgle. And a couple of loose bricks, shifting, things like that. Loose masonry. Not like a giant crash.
Who's down there?
Little bits falling off.
I don't like the sound of that.
I'm gonna say to the oven door, Constance, if you want us to help you, you have to make the house stop hurting us. That's the only way we can help you.
I'm not doing it. My brother's doing it. He lives in the basement.
Do we hear this?
No, only she hears it.
Hey, Margo.
So you might want to go ahead and walk down to the basement and explore.
There's some funny
wait.
noises coming out of the basement.
Yeah, I talked to Constance and she says it's her brother that's causing all the harm and attacking us. I don't know who to believe. This house.
Now, did we?
I'd
Is
really
it
just like to
public knowledge that
go to a joint.
She disappeared.
Toss back a few.
the brother did? Was
No,
he,
you never heard of anything about a brother.
Yeah. I don't think this brother's on record. There's no. I've never heard about a brother. This is one of those brothers, that one of the kids that they're ashamed of and they keep locked away, I think.
I don't think it's Constance's brother. I think it's whatever Constance really is his brother. You know what I'm saying?
Well, perhaps yes.
Because I don't think we're dealing with a little girl. And if we are, it's a little girl from another planet, or another star system, or whatever. Or something. Far away. Another dimension. Who knows? Another dimension. Another dimension. Another dimension.
Well, something's down in that basement.
Something is down in that basement.
Well, to quote Joey Ramone, I don't want to go down to the basement.
Great occult researcher, Joey Ramone.
Yes, of course.
Little known aspect of his life and career.
I don't want to be buried in a pet cemetery. I want my life to begin again or something.
I think we ankle it out of here and
I think I
go
would
to
like
the,
to be seduced.
go to the
to the
closest
basement?
cheese. No, go to the closest speakeasy.
Go ahead and go outside and see what happens. There's a back door here, too, now that you're in the kitchens.
Let's juicy what's going on outside right now.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
All right. You open the back door in the kitchen. And outside you see sand and bright sunlight. Sand, 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 and more sand. And in the distance, you can see pyramids. They look like the pyramids of Giza, except there's a great black pyramid that is much larger than the others. And the pyramids of Giza are shining, covered with shining stone. And that is what you see outside.
Well, isn't that interesting?
Now, is only she singing, or?
Well, no, anyone who looks out the door when it's open. And
This
even
the-
though there are windows in here that show rainy Arkham, when you open that door, out the door, you can all see this ancient Egyptian scene with a pyramid to some kind of dark pharaoh that is lost to history.
I don't remember that pyramid.
It seems to me we've got two choices. We either go downstairs and deal with the brother, or we go upstairs and deal with the entity that supposedly wants to go home.
You go home when I go home, says a voice that now you can all hear.
Well, it seems like it might be easier to get this thing home if we dealt with the brother, who would then not be able to impede us any further. But I think what would happen if we tried that would be we just get killed. So I think we just gotta leave the basement alone and do what we can. I don't know.
Sometimes discretion is the better part of valor.
Maybe this brother is not all that we think he might be. He's just a...
Why don't you go down and take a peek, and you just let me know what it looks like?
I always
You're,
love
you're
it.
a brave woman of action. Come
I
on.
always love a good split up. The truth is in that basement. The truth is down there.
I've got to get to the truth. Even if it kills me.
Do you want to go check it out?
I'm a reporter. I must know the truth. This is such a hot scoop.
Okay, well,
That broad's crazy.
Rachel
down there.
Hemingway by herself heads down.
I'll
I just want to peek.
I'll stay.
I just want to look at something.
I'll go down a little bit with my gun drawn
I'll
and
peek-
keep an eye.
I'll peek over his shoulder.
But I'm not going all the way down.
Okay.
But I'll help. I'll help shoot at something if I have to.
Yeah, well, you're on the stairs, creaky old wooden stairs, and there's a little chain to pull on an electric light that's down here. So you pull that and you go all the way down, and there's this like great big tarp in the middle of the floor. Looks like it's covering some masonry work or something, but it could be like it's about car sized, whatever it's covering up, an old heavy tarp. Do you want to remove the tarp, Rachel? Meanwhile, the two of you are still on the stairway.
It's a doorway to hell.
Would you like to remove the tarp?
Yes.
When you do this, thing stands up and towers over you. It can't even stand up all the way because of the basement. It looked like it's been under the floor. This thing is hideous. And by the way, everybody make a sanity roll. As you look at this thing, it's not altogether... It kind of looks like a crow in a way, but it kind of looks like a mole.
It's a crow.
It kind of looks like an ant, but it also kind of looks like a buzzard. It kind of looks like a decomposed human being, but it also kind of looks like a parrot. It's a horrific thing that you see, and if you made that sanity roll, then you only lose 1 sanity. But if you failed that sanity roll, then you lose D6 sanity. As you look upon Constance's brother, and it turns this beaked over large head towards you, and does anyone...
Rachel, can we dispense with the truth now and get upstairs to the rescuing?
Well, anyway, you scream in horror as the thing attacks, and does anyone have a 15 dexterity? No, we only have 14. And...
a noble whore!
it claws you, Rachel, and it hits with its terrible claws, and I'm reaching for some dice.
Stupid.
And it's gonna do, yeah, I think you want to defend yourself, you must read the poem.
When harm would come upon mine flesh and grievous wounds I'd suffer, this simple rhyme makes spiritual mesh to serve as damage buffer.
That's such a dumb.
Okay, so you don't
It's a
take
great rhyme.
So you don't take 6 points of damage, but mark those off your magic points. And then the thing bites you. And it will actually bite you. And it's going to do, unless you want to read the poem again. You're supposed to decide before you roll it. I already rolled the damage, but hopefully I'm hiding it.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
I'll take it.
You take 3 points of damage.
Oh.
And also, when you take that damage, it's still attached to you with its bite.
I'm at
and it's
0.
Oh, you are unconscious. And it's sucking blood out of Rachel there on the ground in front of you. And then it looks up at you, and it's a horrible growl as the light plays in its eyes the way it does a cat's eyes, you know. And these big wings unfold from its back. And you don't even see how it could get out of this basement, but it obviously got out of a floor. And it starts to stalk towards you guys. And that was its turn, and now on Dexterity 14, does Saul do anything? Rachel, needless to say, is lying down on the basement floor. You guys are still on the stairs, and the thing's towering right over her. And it looks horrific.
I'm gonna shoot at it. Fuck it.
Alright, and blam, 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 blam.
Another good solid hit.
Another good solid hit. Let's roll some damage.
9.
Okay, it's not bad. Your bullets tear into the thing, and it appears to, if not hurt it, it at least notices. You know, it seems to be able to take physical damage. And what are you doing meanwhile, Margo?
I am going to grab a kitchen knife from the kitchen
Yeah.
and hurl it at the monster.
Okay, that's great. That's a throwing roll. Throwing is a skill.
Which do I have it?
Well, it might be one of the combat skills. It's not on the sheet.
Yeah,
but
it's not.
let's call it 10%. And no, he floated, but I love it. I love it. And Rachel, of course, unfortunately, is unconscious. And the thing picks her up and throws her over the stairs at both of you.
Like that.
She falls into the wall and still seems totally unconscious when she hits. But you guys roll your dexterity times 5 or less to get out of the way. If you don't know that fast in your head, just tell me your dex and I'll tell you what it is.
14.
Okay, those of you who... Did you both make it?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Otherwise, you feel like it might have knocked you down the stairs into the basement. But Rachel's poor, almost lifeless-looking body is at least closer to you now.
Right, we can carry her up the stair. And
You can also get my gun.
Yeah, her gun's still with her.
True.
Do you want to get Rachel and get the hell out of the basement, or do you want to stay and
Yes.
fight this horrible thing?
I think if it follows us, we'll keep shooting at it. But I think we're just gonna try to get the fuck out of
you
here.
get the feeling it can't get out of the basement quickly. Like, it might have to batter its way out. Like, it's too big to get up out of the hole. Like, it was buried under the floor for some reason.
Yeah, so you'll get the ankles, I'll get the wrists.
Okay.
Okay, you guys drag her up there. And now what do? You're up walking through the kitchen, you're holding the unconscious Rachel.
Back to the triage room, the living room.
You
Back to
drag
the
her into the
triage.
living room and make a first aid roll. See if you can at least wake her up.
Yes.
Okay, now roll a D3. That's how many hit points are restored, which is a half of a D6. And two. But at least you are up and staggering around. Now what do you guys do? This thing, you can hear it banging around downstairs. You can hear big wings flapping against the floor below you, and hear it growling. Meanwhile, the storm's still raging outside.
Maybe we could make like a Molotov cocktail or something, throw it down in the basement.
There is the liquor cabinet upstairs. That's not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea.
But that's gonna light my
That'll just set the whole,
whole place on
fire.
Yeah.
And then, of
Well,
course, you could also, there's still this idea
Maybe
that,
that's the only way to send these things home like that
well,
one.
that's a possibility.
I don't want to go with them.
Then,
No, but
And, of course, there's also this "you go home when I go home" taunt that you've heard.
Yes.
And you don't know what she means by "read a poem, send me home." You don't know what poem she's talking
Right.
about. It's obviously not the one you have been reading.
Right.
but
Well, she said go up,
She was
so I'm
singing
assuming
a-
it's up by the telescope, maybe.
she was singing a little nursery rhyme before.
She was. It's not the same poem.
Oh, okay.
All right. I look. I'm glad you're conscious and everything, Rachel. But I think we gotta go. I think we gotta go upstairs. I think we gotta go all the way up and talk and just see if maybe there's a poem. Maybe she's got a book up there or something. We can read a poem, whatever it is. But I just want to get out of here and go back to Boston.
Anyone would at this point. Of course, you've already made your $4 a day plus expenses for one day. But doesn't seem worth it, probably.
But see, your Boston clam chowder is my scoop. That's all I want.
All I want is a scoop of Boston clam chowder.
I know.
Well, do you guys want to go upstairs? Or do you want to try to get out and face whatever's outside? Or do you want to go downstairs and kill that thing in the basement?
I'm going upstairs.
Let's go upstairs and
Yeah.
see what this young lady has to say for
I
herself.
concur.
Well, you go up those spiral stairs again. That trapdoor that led to the attic room is helpfully open. Second you put your heads up over and climb into the room. It's an attic room, and the spiral staircase continues up to the tower, but that's just like one little small room up there. It goes up above the attic. There are boxes and storage and things like that, an old dressmaker's dummy and a couple of weird things. And there's like a alabaster arm and torso tilted up in one corner, and a photograph of Milan. And then also, though, right in the middle, there's a cage in the middle of the room. And the little thing in the cage lifts up its head and looks at you. And everybody makes sanity rolls as you look at the thing with its lopsided, misshapen eyes, as if part of its face just began to melt and then stopped and reformed halfway through melting. And these little stunted vestigial wings on its back, and two extra arms on its sides, and a little tail, exactly where the extra holes in the little girl's clothes were cut out. And it looks up at you, and there's a great big lock on the cage, and there is a symbol that the cage is sitting inside. It's made of salt, though, and it's a roughly triangular sign. It's a sign you guys don't know. You don't know enough about the mythos, but it's probably some warding and protection thing that prevents her from blasting open the lock and getting the hell out. She's forced to interact.
I have an idea before
And she looks up to you with these terrible little sad eyes. And those of you who failed that sanity roll, did anyone fail it?
I did.
Okay, if you failed it, you lose D10 sanity as you look at this otherworldly child. And if you succeeded, you lose 2. That's how hard she is to look at. She points at the spiral staircase. as if you're supposed to keep going.
Do you have an idea? I heard you say something about an idea.
Well, I had an idea until what I was thinking was that if we go upstairs and we find Aldebaran in the telescope and then try to get out the front door.
Well, that seems to match with what she wants at the moment.
Well,
It involves going up to the tower.
I got no better idea anyway, so I'd say we just keep on going up before that thing in the basement gets out.
And what she seems like in some ways is like a really stunted, deformed version of the thing you saw in the basement.
Like it's been like she's been sort of put in this cage and like has this symbol put around her so that she could not continue.
Yes,
Right.
yes, as if she's not been allowed to achieve her full potential.
Right.
So, continuing to climb up the ladder, and Rachel, you're feeling shaky, of course. Continuing to climb up the spiral staircase, you end up in the telescope room. And there is a piece, what seems like a pane of glass sitting on the tabletop. It's not a huge, like, giant telescope. It's a table-mounted telescope. It's just looking out of course, it's an overcast night. You know, you're not going to see anything through the telescope. You're going to see clouds. But it looks like that pane of glass sitting on that same table where the telescope is. But as you get closer to it, in dim light and occasional flashes of lightning from outside, it's a piece of parchment that's in between two pieces of glass, like a super old piece of parchment. And the writing, it looks Latin at first, and most people who've been to university or of some sort, or even high school back in the 20s, can recognize Latin, when it's written. But it's just nonsense words. It's just rhyming nonsense words, like ada lada le, ada hala hebede he, that sort of thing.
That's the poem.
And that is what you see up here. Meanwhile, the sounds from the basement, there's a terrible rending crack from the basement as if major floor sections are coming loose down below the kitchens.
Well, is it possible to read this poem?
Yeah, and you get the
Hurry
sense...
up and read it.
Yeah, and you get the sense you should all read it together.
Okay.
Even though it's nonsense words. And so repeat after me. It's Adalada Hay.
Adalada hay.
Adalada Holiday.
Adalada holiday.
All right, let's say that again. Adalada day. Adalada holiday. Adalada holiday. And this is what it takes, is this repeated chanting. And when does anyone want to look through the telescope? When you look through the telescope, just lose one sanity as you pierce the clouds and the curtains of night, and you see the star Aldebaran, and you see through the clouds of the fourth planet from it, and you see the hideous and profane rites that occur on that far distant hellscape. And within that moment, the lens cracks, and you don't see anything else, and the whole house starts to shake. And from outside, against the clouds, there's this darker shape, and you see their huge wings coming in. Wings that dwarf the largest aeroplane you've ever heard of. And there's a terrible screaming sound, almost like a warning klaxon on a ship, And then this thing gets closer and closer and closer. Do you want to run down out of the stairs? It looks like it's going to head right towards this room you're in, the tower itself. Or do you stay for its approach?
I think that might be her ride, so I think we just need to go.
I think we need whatever the 1920s phrase for get the fuck out of here is, that's what we should do.
Everybody make dexterity times 5 or less. And if you succeed, then you make it down the stairs just as you hear this terrible crash. As one glance behind your shoulder, the whole top of the tower comes off. The little girl, the cage falls apart. Like all her mental powers are complete. and unfettered now with the greater power of this thing that's just come in. And when you, again, you risk up and backward, I'm assuming you're downstairs out the door, as far away from up here as you can be, right? You go tearing through the house. You see there's ice all over the wings of this thing, and it looks like a much larger version of the thing you saw downstairs. You run down to the floor, of course, the whole kitchen floor is probably all buckled up. You heard it, but there's something banging against over and over and over against the floor of the great hall as you run through it towards the front door. But you get to the front door, throw it open, and it's Arkham. It's raining. Do you want to get out?
Yes.
Straight to my car.
You turn around as you're running across that big yard back to where your car is in the U-shaped driveway. You hear the crash above you. You look up and the whole tower section falls down, and you see the departing form of this huge winged thing that sails back up into the clouds.
I decided that some things are best left undescribed, unspoken of.
Some stories man does not need to know. Is that what you've decided?
Yes, I quit my job as a journalist.
Sometimes getting the scoop is not worth the trouble.
Well, whether you stay
I got a scoop of insanity. I can say that.
maybe a rest at the sanatorium for a little while.
Yeah, just
give me
just
some
a couple
giggle
weeks,
water,
which
some
will turn
giggle water
into
and a butt, and I'll be okay.
my lifetime, probably.
Well, and I'll assume Rachel makes her way to the sanatorium to check herself in.
Well, I can drop you off.
Drop you off
if you like.
And then you
I'll just be here just a little while. That's all. Yes.
Oh, you'll be right as rain in a few months, probably.
Well, then
ice picks to the orbitals are supposed to do wonders.
the nuns at the sanatorium take Rachel in with gentle cooing sounds and
hook her up to some fucking electrodes.
Yeah, and then you're marched off to this room down in the basement where they say, "Now we will prepare you for your healing." As you open the door and you look and see what's inside, you scream in terror, and that's where we're going to leave you, Rachel. Meanwhile, Margo and Saul said heard something about giggle water.
Yeah.
Do you want to go to the Club Noir?
Wherever they got some nice music and some
stiff drink. Good
I got
stiff
some
drink.
stiff.
Everybody knows you can get a stiff drink under the table, over at Club Noir, and it's
Stiff drink and a butt. That's what I want.
and
Stiff butt.
A stiffy in a butt. That's all I need.
well, and so congratulating each other over a stiff drink from surviving, and you laugh and have fun for a while, but at some point, even though the music is nice, the laughter just kind of falls flat, and you glance over into a mirror that's behind the bar, and just for a second you think you see the hideous, distorted little face of Constance looking back at you. And that's just where we're going to leave it for our Halloween special in Call of Cthulhu. Alright. So, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween!
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Yes, and thank you to Lynn for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
So, we'll see you next time.